October 11th, inside the Sports Lodge. Joey Chapman, John Lodge with you once again. John's joining us from outside today, buddy. You live in the Canada outside area.
Yeah, just wanted to provide a beautiful background for
Mm,
everybody.
that
This nice blue sky
Your
over my shoulder.
siding, it really brings the whole ambiance together.
Yeah, my siding,
I love
right.
you, pal. All right, so let's get into it here quickly before we jump into a weekend full of NFL action. Let's talk about last night. The Leafs taking on the Detroit Red Wings, and we talked about it on the radio show, Johnny, but not much of a surprise as the Maple Leafs beat down the Red Wings in Little Caesars Palace Arena. I guess it's
Little
not
Caesars Arena,
Little Caesars
I think.
Palace. Sorry, that's what Vegas should call their stadium.
Little Caesars Palace. That's good. The Leafs are just continue to outplay every single team that they step on the ice with, or at least they're outscoring them anyway. You got to look at it, man. 3 goals to the Detroit Red Wings. Honestly, man, I'm glad we won. It was 4-3 though. That 5th goal was an empty netter by Ron Hainsey. All well and good. You want to put those in the net, but this game was way closer than it should have been, Joey. The Leafs got to figure something out on defense, man. There's no way this Detroit team should have been doing anything like they were doing. Did you see? Was it Anthony Siu or I can't remember? There was a play in the first period.
He had the breakaway, Anthony Siu, yeah. Or
Yeah,
when he
well,
danced
there was a
Gardner.
play that he got it to Thomas Vanek, right? And then Vanek passed it back over, and they completely deked out the entire Toronto Maple Leafs defense and forward core, everyone.
Yeah.
And they still didn't score. Freddie Anderson obviously made that beautiful save, but something's got to be figured out here, Joey. This is just not working out.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the problems was yesterday, John, is Marincin was in the lineup too, right? I don't obviously Avaganov. I'm never gonna be able to say his name. It pisses me off every time I try. Obviously 92 is the guy in the lineup who's gonna show up, and it looks like it's his job to lose, right? So obviously the Leafs and Babcock went into it yesterday. We don't need to get into it too much, but he went on. Basically, they're going to try and shelter him a little bit due to the length of a KHL season versus an NHL season, and so he's going to get nights off like that, and that's okay. When it's your 6th defenseman, I get it, but you're absolutely right. Maple Leafs, once again, play down to their competition. The only game this year that they've played well, John, I think, is that game against Dallas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't want to hammer Leafs too much. Let's talk a little bit about the good stuff. And everyone is paying attention to John Tavares, 4 assists. Clap, clap. Very good night for him. His first 4 apples. And he made a funny little joke in the post-game interview. Guys were getting on him, asking if he was going to go for the Cy Young because he wasn't getting any apples. So, anyway, I want to talk about Morgan Rielly. That's who I want to really talk about. Morgan Rielly tying Bobby Orr in points through 5 games by a defenseman. And Morgan Rielly, I think, he has been sneakily the leader of this team, in my opinion, for the last few years. Silent leader. No C, obviously, put on him. And now you're seeing him step up even more. He had 52 points, which is a career high last year. He's going to blow by that this year, Joey, especially playing on that PP1.
Well, yeah, that PP1 they're just not going to stop putting up points, right? It doesn't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon here. So you keep giving the puck to Mitch, who slides it over to Johnny T's stick, or throw it the other way to Matthews. He's the point guy, right? So it seems to go Rielly, pass, in the net, right? But he's stepping up too. It's not like he's put the puck in the net a couple times here, and that goal.
Yeah, he got that
Chicago,
OT winner, right?
Exactly, right? So he can do it every way, and it's starting to look like he's going to be a real discount for the Maple Leafs at that contract that he signed really quietly a couple of years ago. That was a Lou Lamoriello signing at the same time as Nazem Kadri, if I remember correctly. A bunch of other games in the NHL yesterday, most notably Connor McDavid getting back on the ice as the Oilers fell to the Bruins, and a Western East semifinal, yeah, Western Conference semifinal rematch with the Oilers the Jets taking on the Predators. There it is, as it scrolled away off my screen on NHL.com, and for some reason I needed it. As the Jets lost 3-0 to the Preds. Coming up this weekend, then, John, just as we preview this and look ahead quick. The Maple Leafs have the Los Angeles Kings in town on Monday on the 15th, which means tomorrow somebody's in town. The Washington Capitals, the defending Cup champions, who have been on just a heck of a run to start the year. Going to be a good game, I'm sure. Is there anything that really jumps off the schedule for you as we look ahead to this NHL weekend, Mr. Lodge?
No, I mean, no hockey games tonight. Kind of surprises
There's
me.
games tonight.
Nope, there's nothing on tonight. There's
No?
0 games on tonight. Everyone's going tomorrow, starting 1 p.m. with Edmonton and New York.
Oh, that's why I'm so confused. That makes sense.
It's really interesting. I don't know if this has to do with the fact that the NLDS is starting and this is how the media world works, and they want all the eyes on one major sporting event. And the NHL just kind of backed off. I don't think that's how it worked. I don't know.
That's weird.
It's really strange, but there's no hockey tonight, and the only thing on is preseason basketball and the NLDS.
That's odd.
Looking ahead to tomorrow,
I had no idea. That's really weird.
The biggest matchup to me tomorrow is obviously it's got to be the Leafs and so it's got to be the Leafs and the Capitals, right? Because the Capitals have been the team that have ousted the Leafs or had ousted the Leafs, and then it was the Bruins who ousted the Leafs. But the Leafs are a little bit more full of a team now, Joey. So I think they'll be looking to maybe continue the losing streak for Washington after they got stomped last night 6-0.
They got stomped last night?
They got shut out.
You know what? You'd think I'd do show prep, and I did. I'm literally looking on NHL.com right now, and I just totally missed it. So, go me go. Thank you for one of us being prepared for this thing. I just want to make a quick comment, John, and we can end the NHL talk. It's really been Leaf talk on that, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. I've been really happy with the Maple Leaf schedule. Not so I don't care about who they're playing. I'm just happy they're playing. I'm happy they're getting in a consistent rhythm here. They're basically playing every other day. They play Monday night against LA, then they're Thursday and Saturday, and then they keep playing games. And I would hate to be one of these teams like Edmonton or Florida or Tampa Bay who played one game and then got 5 days off. I think it's really good for the team, and then obviously it's working out for them as they just continue to win games and get on a roll. But just as a Leafs fan and a fan of hockey in general, it's been fun to be able to sit down and watch this team almost every other night.
Yeah, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I read a tweet this morning that said NHL top 5 scoring, and they're all Maple Leafs.
So, you know what? It wouldn't shock me, man. That power play is just ridiculous. Okay, Johnny, let's move on to what you just mentioned in the baseball, in the ALCS and the NLCS, which goes tonight.
I said the DS. My bad. Yes, the CS.
That's right. The CS, the Championship Series, go tonight, and we talked about this yesterday on the Sports Lodge on Riot Radio. But we have a little bit more information. We knew Clayton Kershaw was going to go for the Dodgers. We didn't know who was taking the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers, but it's going to be Gonzalez. I'm not surprised. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the Milwaukee Brewers pitching staff. John, what can you tell the folks about Gonzalez, or do you even have a clue?
Gio Gonzalez, he's a former top 2 starting pitcher out of the Washington Nationals. He was traded actually this trade deadline over to the Brewers because the Nationals were obviously not going to make the playoffs.
Okay, so that's a good pickup for Milwaukee then.
Yeah, one of the moves that people thought, Gonzalez has had a down year, right? That's why he was moved.
Absolutely. I'm looking at his ERA right now. It's not like he put up the best regular season.
Yeah, but I mean, Washington was bad. That was the point, right? He had been a good a serviceable pitcher, a J.A. Happ style type pitcher for Washington for a couple of years, and then Washington was really bad this year. So, and not that that can be all the excuse, but it can definitely lead to a bad pitching performance.
No, it can hurt him for sure. We saw it here.
So, yeah, he's definitely going to be formidable for the Dodgers, but he's going to have to get out of it early. And if you're taking daily fantasy, I would stick with Clayton Kershaw over Gio Gonzalez, just simply because I think Gonzalez is only going to last 4 1/3. Because Milwaukee are going to be akin to go into that bullpen. They like to use their bullpen. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it. I want to see Milwaukee come out on top in this one because I want to see some new blood. I think the Astros are going to walk over the Red Sox, but I want to see some new blood in the World Series. I want to see the Milwaukee Brewers get in there.
Yeah, well, I think we can both agree that it's more fun to have a Cinderella, and right now the Bucks are the Cinderella team. No one's calling Houston a Cinderella. You can't be a Cinderella team when you're the Boston Red Sox and had that 110, 12 wins, whatever the hell they had. And the Los Angeles Dodgers haven't been considered a Cinderella team their entire existence.
Like their payroll is like $400 million.
Right? It's absolutely like you're not considered a Cinderella. So the Brewers, excuse me, are our only real shot at a Cinderella, and I'd like them to win, but if you're going to make me bet on some guy who I didn't even know his first name in Gonzalez versus Clayton Kershaw in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series, I'm picking the Dodgers in Game 1, and it's pretty simple. Now, in the other side of the bracket, John, we do know who's going on Saturday for the Astros and for the Red Sox. It's going to be Chris Sale for the Red Sox, Justin Verlander for the Astros. Two aces, two legitimate aces. Who do you have winning this game? I don't care about who wins, John, so much. Who do you think is going to be able to go deeper into this game?
That's the question.
Right? Because these two are facing real deep lineups, both sides. It's going to be, everybody expects a slugfest, but there's every opportunity for a pitching duel tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm expecting the exact opposite, Joey. I'm expecting two massive egos on either side, and these guys are like world class starters. I dare you, other than Clayton Kershaw, I dare you name me a better starting pitcher than those three in the major leagues that can go a full that can pitch 9 innings. Right? Those are the guys. That's it. And I'm fully expecting at least 7 innings out of both these guys. So,
man, yeah. You're a lot more hopeful than I am.
I think they're gonna shut this. I think it's gonna be shut down.
That would absolutely suck if we get these two teams in Game 1.
I think the big storyline is gonna be who has more strikeouts.
Man, well, I guess it wouldn't suck. You're right. It wouldn't suck. It'd be a lot of fun if these guys both go 7 2/3 to 11 Ks, go deep into the game and find a way to strike and just put on a performance.
As soon as the Boston bullpen comes out, you know that Houston's gonna win.
But it's just, I don't think it's happening. I think both these teams just hit the ball too well. I think what Houston does best is run up counts. I think these guys are all real smart hitters, and it's as much as they do hit dingers, Altuve and company, they're patient hitters, and they're going to run up the count. And I think you just said it, John. The Boston bullpen's the weakness of their team, and I fully expect the Houston Astros to do everything they can to stretch out at bats, stretch out, especially early in the series as they try and get to the bullpen.
Keep in mind, though, there is someone new lurking in that bullpen for Boston.
Yeah, but
it's a starter. It's a legitimate starter.
How long are you going to let him go, though, John?
I'm telling you, if Chris Sale can't go, if Chris Sale comes out there and starts throwing 91-mile-an-hour heaters,
which is possible,
and his arm isn't there, David Price is warming up and coming in that game.
But shit, John, Guaranteed. How long do you trust David Price in this game? Out of relief,
I'm not
he's
saying
better,
that you're going to leave him in there for the long haul. I'm saying that he will be the first man out of the bullpen if there's trouble.
Yeah, probably. He's your highest paid, most talented guy. Say what you want about David Price, but he should probably be the first guy coming out of your bullpen.
Especially when your bullpen's complete shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd even bring him out to close how bad Craig Kimbrell has been, but that's a discussion for another time.
Can we talk about Thursday Night Football now?
We can.
We talk a little bit about it?
Though, John, before we jump out of baseball, me and you, yesterday on the radio, I picked Los Angeles and Houston. You picked Houston and Milwaukee. Do you still stand by that?
It's Houston and Milwaukee.
All right. I wanted to get it on the record on the pod as well that you have Milwaukee taking down the Dodgers. Let's talk Thursday Night Football. Wasn't the prettiest game. 34-13 win for the Philadelphia Eagles as somehow they scraped their way to a victory. God, that's just not pretty football, John.
I don't know what is going on with the New York Football Giants.
Oh, they suck. That's what's wrong with the Giants.
When in the hell are you going to put Eli Manning on the bench?
Well, the problem is they don't have anybody.
Okay, go. Well, you know what? And they put a tabloid. They put a tabloid picture up during the broadcast I was watching, And I'll confess, I was watching more of that horrible Thursday Night Football game than I was the Leaf game.
Did you really?
They had a tablet that said "Sign Kaepernick." So, I mean,
you know what would have been smart? Draft Baker Mayfield, draft Sam Darnold, Josh Allen,
Saquon Barkley is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, and he will be. They're going to need someone like him.
Saquon Barkley.
Yes, they do. But they do need Saquon Barkley.
But they need a quarterback too, John. They need a quarterback.
Yes, but
and there was four available where they picked, or three available where they picked. They had the opportunity to change their franchise. And Ben McAdoo, as big as a moron as we all thought Ben McAdoo was last year, he said Eli didn't have it anymore and got eviscerated for it. Look, Eli Manning doesn't have it anymore, and maybe he can show up and some late season heroics, but the only redeeming quality for the Giants here is that division is absolutely terrible. No one, I think, is going to be able to separate themselves unless the Eagles use this as a springboard, but it's not like they played the lights out yesterday either, John.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, but Carson Wentz did do enough.
He looked better, and Carson, he finally looked healthy, but I thought he was healthy. I don't know.
Yeah, he looked a lot better. The Giants defense got to him a couple times, hit him, but he was doing that stupid shit again. Joey, did you see he ran and then he dove head first for a first down into contact?
I didn't see that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching more of the Leaf game than Thursday Night Football.
I watched it. I was like, are you kidding me? Dude, you almost ended your career if your knee was like that, like Teddy Bridgewater yourself, right? And you still play stupidly. Anyway, yeah, the Eagles end up coming out winning this one, but it was because the Giants Eli Manning only throws screen passes, bro. That's it.
Well, it's just and it's not like they don't have.
He's got a high completion percentage, but he's what they said last night on the broadcast is he's top 5 in completion percentage, but he's 19th in yards.
That's cute.
So anyway, let's move on.
John, I have a rant. Sorry, I have something to say before we move on to any other games. But I guess it kind of jumps into our Falcons-Bucks game because I know you want to talk about that. But I want to kill Devontae Freeman. I am so fucking mad at this human being right now. It's unbelievable. Why he gets announced that he's out on Friday. I fucking no one cares about my fantasy football team. I know you don't, but I do, and I'm pissed off because I sit the backup in Atlanta yesterday because, well, what the hell? He didn't get any touches yesterday. Didn't touch the ball, did Tevin Coleman. And so finally, I fucking start Wendell Smallwood. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get this lead back for the Eagles. And then, no, Friday, they announced Devontae Freeman's going to miss his 4th game of the year. Suck my dick. I'm just so mad about it. And, my fantasy team's in shambles as it is. I really need a bone. And this guy's just going to... He's out on a Friday. You tell me you didn't know he was going to be out on Tuesday? What did he do last night that he can't play? Pisses me off. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I wanted to get that off my chest.
Had a shaky game, too.
Oh, he did shit. He got me 5 fantasy points. I'm going to lose again. I'm going to go 1 and 5.
Couldn't have done much.
God, I'm going to shoot somebody. Absolutely. I'm just so rattled with my fantasy football team. And Devontae Freeman, fuck you. I don't want to be one of those fans that yells about fantasy football. But I really needed Tevin Coleman, and now I can't start him because what am I going to do?
So guess who I just picked up in my fantasy?
James Conner. Yeah, pick up Tevin Coleman. He's got Tevin Coleman. He's going to play.
No, I got Matty Ice.
Oh, I picked him up a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he's hard to have.
Well, I was just going into my fantasy, and I was like, oh shit, I still have Leonard Fournette. He's not coming back this year.
Is he done for the year?
Well, I mean,
he's barely played. He didn't he played week 1, and that was
he's got me 9 fantasy points in 5 weeks. So I dropped his ass.
Yeah, I would.
And I picked up Matty Ice, and I'm thinking I'm having an issue here. Do I start Matty Ice, or do I start Pat Mahomes?
That's a good one because let's talk Falcons Bucks first. Just because it's the least sexier of the games, but a really good game nonetheless. A game that I really want to talk about. Just because you got Jameis versus Matty Ice, and Jameis is making his first real start of the year, coming off the bye week. I think this is going to be a shootout. The only thing, it's in Tampa Bay, but I don't think that's going to affect Matt Ryan that much. I think that secondary is terrible. I think him and Julio are going to be able to light them up.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is these teams, the Falcons secondary is terrible too. So I think Deshaun Watson and company, or not Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Jackson and company are going to be able to run up and down the field, and I think Jameis is going to hit him. So, excuse me, Moosehead burps. That's why you shouldn't drink beer during podcasts, folks. I would go Matty Ice over Pat Mahomes because we'll talk about it in a minute, but I think Billy B is going to have a game plan for Patty Mahomes up in Foxborough.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking that. That's why I grabbed Matty Ice there because, I got, like I said, I'm fairly wealthy when it comes to the quarterback possession in fantasy, but talking about that Tampa Bay game, I think Julio's ready to go off. I mean, he was a little bit vocal a couple weeks ago, but not getting enough targets. And then last week they targeted the shit out of him, and now this week they're going up against that, like you said, that weak secondary in good weather. Man, again, this is going to be one of those games that's like 40-something to 38 or something. This is going to be just one of those crazy-ass, high-scoring games.
As long as the weather holds up in Florida, that's... Oh, no, sorry. They're in Atlanta. I apologize.
Oh, so they're indoors then.
Yeah, they're in the dome, so it doesn't even matter. So, yeah, pick Matty Ice. So, I apologize. I read versus Tampa Bay I read at instead of versus. It's in a dome. Matty Ice is going to put up points. Pick the Falcons, pick Matty Ice. I don't know what the cover is, but it doesn't matter. They're both going to put up points. All right, John, let's talk Sunday night because that's the game I think me and you were both passionate about this week and both dialed into. Like, this is what you look for in the NFL, and this is what you wish for on a Sunday night matchup. Pat Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid's not really a matchup, but Gronk versus Kelsey. Sony Michel and James White taking on Tyreek Hill and company. I'm nervous as a Pats fan. I am emotionally prepared to lose this game. How are you feeling about it, buddy? How's your emotional state heading into Sunday?
I'm not worried about it. I'm looking forward to this game because I want to see a showdown. I want to see Pat Mahomes get punched in the mouth and then respond. Right, but then because I've seen Tom Brady get hit in the face, I've seen the Patriots get down and have that 8 count and then pull themselves back up off the mat. So let's see if KC can do it. You talk about Gronk, you talk about Kelsey, and I gotta say this is almost gonna sound like blasphemy, but I think Kelsey may have passed Gronkowski as the best tight end, just simply based on health. Because of consistency. If Gronkowski was healthy and able to stay in the league and play as many games as Kelsey has, then he would obviously not be able to hold a candle to him. But based on health alone, I think he's probably the best tight end in the league. And Pat Mahomes really hasn't relied that much. He hasn't really built that big of a relationship with Kelsey yet. So you got to look out. If they start connecting a lot, then it's going to be dangerous.
Are you done being dumb? Are you done? Are you done with your nonsense now? Are you fucking high, John? How much weed have you smoked today? Travis Kelce's not a tight end. He's a glorified wide receiver. That guy doesn't block.
He's a tight end.
He doesn't. What you? Okay, you find me. You watch a Kansas City tape and show me a play where he blocks for a running back or does anything other than run straight up the field.
You're telling me it's
Travis Kelce is a very good football player, but he doesn't play tight end. He plays wide receiver. He just lines up as a tight end. He doesn't do anything to block. He doesn't play positionally like a tight end.
So that's how you feel.
I would take Gronk over him in a heartbeat because I think he's got better hands, and I don't necessarily think Kelsey's faster. I just think he gets more open because he's got better weapons around him. But if you're telling me you want to pick Kelsey over Gronk as your favorite tight end or the best tight end in football, I'll tell you, I'll take Gronk on my team and we'll kick the shit out of Travis Kelce because he's a soft little pretty boy is what he is. And he likes his little reality TV and he likes to be all cute and shave fucking things in the side of his head. But when it comes down to putting your hand in the dirt, Travis Kelce's not good. And don't get me wrong, I think he's probably going to put up 100 yards because he's either going to have Devin McCourty or Patrick Chung covering him on Sunday night. And we've seen through the first 5 weeks of the year, that's not a recipe for success against anybody. But Gronk's the best tight end in football. I don't necessarily think that you're going to see it. I think Gronk's healthy, man. That's just not... They're not going to let him get hurt, and they use him more as a tight end. Gronk's the tight end. I'll take him every day of the week. I can understand the argument, but I don't think he plays tight end, and that's my biggest problem with Travis Kelce, is I just think he's a big phony.
Maybe not traditionally, but that's like he definitely lines up in the tight end slot. So
that's why Tony Gonzalez will never be the best tight end ever, because he didn't do shit either. Because when you just all you do is line up wide and catch balls, are you really a tight end?
Wow, you just totally called it. You realize that without him, there is no Gronkowski, right?
Yeah, no, Gronk is a better player because he does everything that a tight end should do, and he can go out there and be the best wide receiver, best pass catcher on the field.
That dude gets also like the greatest tight end in the history of the NFL.
Not. Gronk's the best tight end in the history of the NFL. Most touchdowns in a season, most yards. He's going to have the most touchdowns when it's all said and done.
And you just called him out. And I mean, Gronkowski
he didn't block either. He's like Travis Kelce. He didn't block.
Oh, we need to move on. We got to move on.
Let's do picks. Well, we'll talk about it and we'll do picks. I have 3 games on the schedule. There's not a lot of sexy games in the NFL this week, Johnny.
Oh, it's a lot of shit.
There's a lot of shitty games, but I've tried to find your diamonds in the rough. Obviously, we didn't want to pick Pats KC because we just both picked the Pats, and the Falcons Bucks. Whatever. It's not a game I'm looking to pick this week, but there is a game that I think will be a bit tricky for you. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And I will double check for you that this game is in Dallas, but yes, it is. It is in Dallas. Jacksonville travels cross country to take on the 2-3 Cowboys, coming off that loss against Houston. Is the Jacksonville defense good enough to shut down Zeke Elliott and company, or are the Cowboys going to find a way to win this one at home, Johnny?
6 sacks for the Jacksonville defense.
Ooh, yeah, so that just leans the way you're going.
Yeah, Jags take this one. I think Blake Bortles has enough to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, me too. I don't think the boys' defense is that good. And when I wrote this game down, I was like, maybe I can make the argument. But as soon as I started talking, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be a blowout. I've seen Blake Bortles make the throws before. I agree with you. Jaguars take the dub in Arlington. And things might start to get a little hot for Jason Garrett and company after this one.
Yeah.
The other game I had for you to pick, buddy, is Seattle and Oakland. This game is in Oakland. Not a divisional matchup, but 2 teams that don't see each other a lot. Oh, this is in London, I believe. Now that I'm checking it. Yeah,
this is going to be interesting.
Okay, I didn't realize they were off in London. Those poor Brit bastards got a beat-up Seattle team and a John Gruden Raider team. I don't really know how I feel about it, but they're playing at Wembley Stadium. Johnny, who you got?
Carson over 100 yards rushing, and Russell Wilson with 3 touchdown passes. Seattle wins.
I like Oakland. I don't know why. I keep wanting to pick them, but I like Oakland. They got the 7th-ranked offense in football. The defense for Seattle, I know they're okay, but I think they're going to find a way to shut down Russell Wilson and company. I think, maybe, I don't know. I'm taking a leap of faith that they're only going to get better. That defense is just so bad in Oakland, and John Gruden should really shut the hell up about needing a pass rush. But I'm going to pick against you here, but they're your picks, so that's all that matters. Johnny picks Seattle. Moving on to an AFC matchup, John, that is going to have real playoff implications, I think. It's kind of a sneaky game, but you got the 3-2 Ravens and the 3-2 Tennessee Titans. Both teams have found a way to look really good and really bad at certain points this year. It's a tough one, but who do you got?
I got Justin Tucker kicking the Baltimore Ravens to the victory on this one. I really do. This is going to be a nasty, ugly, dirty, bad game. It's just going to be bad. And I don't even know. I think I'll give Flacco one touchdown pass. And I think you're going to see the kickers more than anything in this game, in my opinion. And Justin Tucker is hands down the best kicker in the NFL. So it'll be the Justin Tucker show yet again, and Baltimore gets a win.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. at all if that happens. I think this game being in Tennessee helps the Ravens. It's a battle of two top 5 defenses. These teams they're both real good. Like, they both have the ability to be real good, but the problem is I don't trust either of their quarterbacks, and I don't think their weapons are good enough on the outside for both the Ravens and the Titans to do anything major this year. But 4-2, you're looking at a playoff spot in the eyes if you're 4-2 after 6 weeks. So this is a tough one. I think the Titans pull it out, especially coming off that tough loss against Buffalo, but you never know. I do my lock of the week every week. I have the Green Bay Packers over the San Francisco 49ers, a game that, might have been fun and certainly was a game that you might circle on the schedule at the beginning of the year, Jimmy G versus Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football, but this had flex written all over it. I was surprised that ESPN didn't find a way to switch games here, especially now that we're in the flex window. But they didn't, and so people are going to be subjected to watch that on Monday night, as the Green Bay and the Packers are going to beat the shit out of the 49ers, because I'm sorry, it's just without Jimmy G, you ain't got no hope.
Oh, you got no faith in C.J. Beathard?
No, well, you know what? He moved the ball pretty well the first couple of weeks, but
yeah,
no.
But I mean, I think he lost a pretty key offensive player. I can't remember who to a pretty severe injury last week. So yeah, no, I'm on.
And 3 weeks ago they lost a more important offensive player, and really that's all that matters for them.
Well, yeah. So,
and
49ers season was over in week 1.
Week 2, I think Jimmy went down.
Week 2, sorry.
The biggest factor in this for me, in this being my lock, is just Green Bay needs to win. They need to win to keep up in their division. They got to try and keep up with Chicago. Chicago is sneakily fighting their way to a pretty good record, and you don't want to be looking up. Like, Chicago's 3-1. They're taking on the Dolphins in Miami. They're gonna beat the shit out of Tannehill this week. So
yeah,
the Green Bay Packers, they just need to keep up, and I think they're gonna put a throttling on the San Francisco 49ers. All right, John, that's all I had written down for the Sports Lodge this week. Is there anything that was near and dear to your heart that you wanted to end off the show with?
You know what? I don't know if this is like an illness that has become of me, but I am rooting for the Browns again this week.
Oh, I agree. How can you not root for the Browns?
I am feeling more and more passionate for Baker Mayfield and that team. So yeah, go Brownies this week against the Chargers.
Yeah, absolutely. After they've won one game in their last 37. Like before Baker Mayfield, 1-37, with Baker Mayfield, 2-3. Go Baker Mayfield, go Browns. Like, I hope the Browns make the playoffs. Like, I want nothing but good things.
If it's possible, then it's possible. But
I feel so bad for the city of Cleveland. LeBron just jerks off on them, basically. He just doesn't care anymore. The Browns have been so bad for so long. Like, the Lake Erie River Monsters are their hockey team. It's just not good in Cleveland. So I can get on board with that sentiment. All right, if you're still listening to the Sports Lodge, thank you. You've made it through this episode. Give us a follow on Twitter at JoeyChapman54. Johnny's at JustJohn619, and you can always follow the show at the Sports Lodge RR. We are on Facebook at the Sports Lodge Pod Facebook page. And we're sorry we missed you last week with Thanksgiving, but we're going to try and keep this Tuesday, Friday schedule for a while, at least till we get through hockey and football season here, and then we'll
slow her down.
Then we'll take a step back as we move into the summer. Johnny, have a good weekend, pal, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Peace.